Is this washed out or wood?
It's very washed.
Alright guys, welcome to the YouTube video. In a few minutes you are going to see the workout play from today. We did back and rear delts, and as always it was Alex's programming, and I'll do a little voiceover after he's gone. But this is his last night in Ohio, and he's so smart, so I thought I would have him on to talk again. So his expertise is in supplements, and I had a few questions about fat burners, how to use them, if they're effective, if they're safe, and all of that. So take it away, Alex.
Okay, with your, as many of my clients know, I'm not a huge advocate of any or very few fat burners, but there are some ingredients that I would suggest, and those two being synephrine and forskolin. Those would probably be the only two ingredients that I would suggest looking for in a fat burning product. I'll talk about both. So synephrine is a chemical that you will find in citrus fruits that is going to mimic an ingredient that was very popular back in the day that is now banned, called ephedrine. That can no longer be put in any supplementation because of the FDA. So they've tried to find some ingredients that are going to mimic how that ingredient worked, and synephrine was the answer. It doesn't work obviously to the multitude that ephedrine did, but it will do the job. Dosages, I have seen probably 50 milligrams working best. So if you find a product that has that kind of dosage, I would suggest that. And then forskolin is an herb that is going to help the metabolism of carbohydrates, glycogen, sugars, fat metabolism. It's just going to help with the regulation of the food that you're taking in. And also in pairing, there have been studies to show that the forskolin is, the effects of it are heightened because of the use synergistically with the synephrine. So both of those ingredients together are a definite go. And also dosage for that one, I'm being put on the spot. I think it's 50 milligrams as well. I would
It'll be up on the screen.
I would highly check that. But I think it's 50 milligrams, and those would be the only two ingredients that I would suggest. Obviously caffeine is going to play a big role in it as well. That's going to depend on the person's tolerance personally.
When should you take a fat burner?
When should you take a fat burner? I think that, I guess you would say deeper into a contest prep. I wouldn't say it's for the general fat loss person, someone who's just trying to lose weight. I would more so focus on calorie expenditure and food intake rather than using a fat burner, especially since any fat burner that you buy now is going to be very, very small difference in the fat loss that you would experience from proper training and nutrition. So I would more so be an advocate of hiring someone who really knows how to manipulate training and nutrition, and doing that rather than spending $60 a month, $70 a month on some fat burner. Yeah.
And so do you, would you say that a fat burner is really not going to do anything unless you have your nutrition and training on point?
Right, yeah.
Like most supplements.
Right. I mean, your training and nutrition is going to come first. Now the forskolin will help with appetite suppression, but in theory, you don't know that for a fact. It's going to be very subjective to the person. But yeah, it's just, I mean, you shouldn't take a fat burner unless your training and nutrition is intact prior to that.
Okay, And oh my God, I didn't. Okay, let me know if you know who did this graphic, but I saw a graphic once and it was a pyramid, and it was like kind of a play on like the food pyramid, but we all know that's not real life anymore. But it was like training and nutrition.
There it comes.
Okay, he already knew what it was. All right. Then it goes like the next level is calories, and then macronutrients, and then supplementation, or meal timing, and then supplementation. So like you have to get the ladder down first before you can like reap the benefits of the other things, or for it to even make that big of a difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Although I am a huge advocate of supplementation and all things that it provides, I know that it is not the end-all be-all to anything. It is just the icing on the cake and super fun for me to research and be a part of. So even though I'm a huge advocate, I know it's not gonna make or break anything.
They can help.
Yeah,
they can
it
help,
helps.
even if it's not your training and nutrition on. Does that keep zooming in?
Yeah, you keep touching it.
Skirt. Like different kinds of supplements can help you more so than like a fat burner or taking like any kind of bodybuilding supplement for a physique goal versus other supplements.
Bodybuilding supplement.
Skirt. Also, if you watch my last few videos, this is Alex, the one with the free supplement guide. So he obviously knows what he's talking about. He's smart. So if you go in my description box, there will be a link to download the free supplement guide for pre-workout information, and it lists out some of the ingredients he thinks are necessary in a pre-workout, where you can research them further, the clinical dosing, it's cited, and then his personal opinion on it, and it's free.
It's for free.
So you can go ahead and check that out. And yeah, that's all. Enjoy the workout.
Bye.
Peace out, bye. All right. We're going to get started with this back workout. This workout was only like 5 exercises. If you've heard me talk about Alex's programming before, he does do my programming. They are less exercises and more focused on form and intent and all of that jazz. So as you see us doing a row, we of course did warm up and mobility, and then we had warm up sets on this, but you'll be leaning forward. Your feet will not be on that, because to get full lengthened position, the cables wouldn't go far enough. So you'll have to scoot back on the seat and hold yourself in place. And this is going to be a little bit of a lean forward row. You'll see me reach all the way forward. So that is me protracting, and then you see me pull back, and that is me retracting my scapula. And then further from retracting, I also depress my scapula, and I'm making sure, as you can see both Alex and I doing, when we do get to that more lengthened position and we pull back, our elbows don't move until halfway through the movement. That is because we want to get our lats activated before we start to move through the movement. You don't want to be using your biceps or any other muscle. You want to be getting that strength from your back. So really focusing on where your body is and how you are retracting, protracting, depressing your scapula is really going to change the level of activation you get here. We did 4 sets for almost every exercise, and we did these for only a set of 6. And if you saw my weight, I was doing like 20 pounds for like both arms put together. Next, we moved over to bent over rows, and these are a little bit different than your normal bent over row, thinking as we're resting the dumbbell on the ground in between. And we focused on having a more explosive on the way up, the concentric, and then a little bit slower on the eccentric. And these are a little bit heavier weight. If you do, these are all the way bent over rows. A lot of the times when I do rows, it's like lean forward, and I'm focusing on getting that weight and like to my hip. And again, we're focusing on that same thing, we're using a little bit heavier weight, but still not trying to use momentum from our body the best that we can. But again, that's a little bit more explosive concentric part of the movement and a slower eccentric part of the movement, making sure you're not using that momentum, getting that elbow in, trying to get your elbow in closer to your spine. And you'll see this a lot whenever I do a back exercise, is when I lower it all the way to the ground, I kind of stop and reposition. That is just to make sure that I actually am working my lat and not getting into the habit of just moving the weight. I want to feel the contraction on both sides. I want to feel my body being activated. I want to feel that mind muscle connection, and resetting in between sets really helps me. So that's what I do. Also, you'll see a little posing in between here. Alex does encourage me to do posing in between sets, especially sets where I'm going to look jacked, you know. And this is because not only will you be able to see more of what your body would look like on stage, but also like you need to get used to posing in public. One of my friends, Shelby, is going through prep right now, and I told her to get comfortable posing in public. If you think I feel comfortable in the middle of Lifetime with people I went to high school with posing bikini poses that a lot of them probably don't understand, then you are wrong. I don't feel super comfortable with it, but I'm getting comfortable because this is something I'll have to do on stage. And even if you're not a competitor, just to practice like checking yourself out in public, because I think that we're going to the gym to like be proud of our bodies. So why not like check out your jacked self in the mirror? Just a thought. All right, next we moved to this machine. I know a lot of you probably won't have this. It's kind of like a lat pull down, but it's like the name of the machine is like vertical activation or something. It's a really good machine to have, and you get a really good stretch. You even have to wear a seatbelt so you don't like come off the chair, but the movement is pulling down. Again, with this, just making sure that you are using your lats to pull the weight. You don't want this to become a bicep exercise at all. You see me focusing and going slow, and again resetting in between to make sure I'm getting my lats involved, my back involved, and not just trying to pull down. The full workout will be in the description box as always. The last thing we did was a superset, and it was these rear delt cable pulls. We have the cables crossed, and we're focusing on pushing out. You want to make sure on these movements you are pushing out. You see me kind of push forward and then out to the side. I want to get my hands like far away from each other. It's not just moving the cable. You guys are so tired of hearing me talking, but it's about pushing it out. And again, this is a rear delt superset. After we did the cables, we moved over to an incline bench with some plates, and it's again focusing out to get that rear delt engage. If you're just focusing on bringing the weight up, you are not going to get the engagement that you want. And just keeping tension through that rear delt and knowing what it feels like to activate your rear delt is something just everyone needs to be able to do. All right, guys, that was all of the workout. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed the little talk about fat burners. I want this channel to be mostly educational and all about the betterment of ourselves, whether that be learning more, applying more, just becoming better people in general. That's what I want you to get out of this channel. So I hope you got one of those things out today, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Have a great Tuesday. I love you all so much. If you're ever looking for supplements, you can look in the description box and buy from Legion. There's some other stuff in my description box if you ever need it. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.